Cape Town International Convention Centre, home to this year's 2024 SA Auto Week, of course hosted by NAAMSA.
The message has been very consistent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third edition of the SA Auto Week press conference. And whenever we've done this, we always start with the media because communication is quite key for us. NAAMSA, the Automotive Business Council, represents the collective, non-competitive interest of the new motor vehicle industry in South Africa.
And the jobs we're responsible for. And today, of course, I'm speaking on behalf of the manufacturing OEMs here within South Africa. Now, NAAMSA President just showed us the results for 2024 year to date, and at first glance.
Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to talk about imported vehicles in South Africa, a world in which I live and dream every single day. When I look around my colleagues, they're all talking about plant and manufacturing something, and imports has always been like, the other sister in the family, but it is quite an important thing to focus on as an industry. And one of my opening things was just to talk around how...
Dear Deputy Mayor, dear members of the media, dear fellow NAAMSA colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as Tato already said, the real drivers of the industry is the commercial vehicles, since whilst we are the small kid on the block, we are quite an important one, since none of my car manufacturing colleagues would be able to produce a single car, get a single car delivered, nor would any of their employees or most of their employees get to work to produce those cars without having trucks and buses on the
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just sitting in the audience and listening to the speeches from my four colleagues who have preceded me, one certainly gets a very stark and a very real understanding of the complexity and the dynamic nature of the South African auto industry. And I think it was very interesting to listen to the unique challenges that each member of the NAAMSA board has brought to the fore in terms of how this industry that is 100 years old has continued to evolve and has continued to find its place on the global stage. The challenges that we face are very real, and the challenges require a lot of cooperation between the sector, the different role players in the government, as well as the government.
Hydrogen power, another alternative to alternative fuels, alternative ways of fueling cars. So under this cover over here, look at that, look what it says. Hydrogen fuel cell. Yep, okay. Battery electric, hydrogen, they're all coming in the future. This is, of course, a BMW X5. And besides all the graphics on the car, it looks like a very normal X5. That's all it looks like. And even inside, although it's a left-hand drive model, it looks pretty much the same. But there are the differences, of course. I was hoping to take it for a drive, but sorry, can't do it because of legalities with getting these on the road in the country at the moment. But BMW aren't the only ones who've got a hydrogen-powered vehicle here today. Because look here, Toyota, it's something called the Mirai. I know that they are on the road in California at the moment in particular. I think this is the only one in South Africa right now. You can see it's even licensed for our roads. There we go. But also hydrogen powered, because Toyota are also very much behind hydrogen power and alternative power sources to power usages. It looks pretty normal. I mean, I think it reminds me a lot of the Prius, that's for sure, especially that little gear lever over there. But yet another future source of power, another future source of motivation for vehicles. Here we go with hydrogen. And while I'm out here, here's a whole display of various, many versions of big trucks, electric, some of them electric, just one very old diesel one too over here. But this is part of the whole display over here. And you can see a bit of the history of trucks in South Africa, some electric, some alternative powered, some just more run-of-the-mill and some older. But just another display that's here for you to enjoy. And this is where most of the action is going to take place today. Yeah, going to be very, very high level today. Day 3, lots of talk so far, lots of interviews, but some exciting stuff coming today.
please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Indeed, representatives of the industry from the manufacturers to retailers, to OEMs and component suppliers, the financiers, and all the colleagues here present. Ladies and gentlemen, I suppose I should also try to acknowledge one of my predecessors.
Mr. Pakistan, ministers who are here present, and deputy ministers, premiers of some of our provinces that are deeply invested and involved in this industry, MECs who are here present, NAAMSA President, Billy Tom, and CEO of NAAMSA, Mr. Mike Mabasa, and representatives of the industry, particularly the leadership, but more importantly, the investors, the bankers, ambassadors who are here present, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be in your presence this morning. To improve the operational performance of our energy, freight, and logistics sectors, all of which directly impacts the automotive industry. Transnet continues with its work to revitalize the Port of Durban. It is also proceeding with the upgrade of the Gauteng Eastern Cape Railway line as part of Project Vuselele. As a government of national unity,
coming into the main exhibition hall, it is really, really noisy in here, but most of the manufacturers have got stands, or a lot of them. But I think I want to actually show you around here, because besides the stands, this is a central display of the heritage of motoring in South Africa. I mean, do I have to say the Nissan 1400 champion of Africa, they called it, in fact. So there you go. Of course, it's an absolute legend in the country. Still on the Nissan stand, look at this. Oh, the Z car, or the Z cars, as of course the Americans would call them. And this is a beautiful example. 240Z, which was the original one of the Zs that came to South Africa, that really were popular in South Africa and they really loved in this country. And this one is magnificent. And do I have to say anything more than, of course, a Beetle? Certainly not standard in many ways, this one. If you have a look at the interior, you have a look at the extras on this car. Nope, not standard at all, but it doesn't matter. A combi. What more do I have to say than that? Just look at this, the Type 2 as they called it, 1977 model. And proudly on the Mercedes side, 1994 C-Class. I think the first C-Class model that was built in South Africa, which I think was the important part. And a Ponton year, 1957 Mercedes. Apparently one of the first ones built in this country as well. So there, it's another example. Toyota Taz. Again, what do you have to say about that? Very little to actually add to it. It doesn't matter because it just is such legendary stuff. And interesting, look at that. Toyota South Africa 60 years badge on their sticker. So you can see what it's all about behind it. That's an early Hilux, isn't it? Yeah, Hilux. Don't have to say anything else on that. And last one in this little section, Isuzu KB. Again, a nice early example. We spoke about Isuzu. Well, here you go, that's what they're all about. And I have to finish this little segment with, of course, Toyota's Cressida, the cockroach. You want to know why it's called the cockroach? It's called that because they say you just can't kill them. Nah, they keep going. There's still plenty of them going from so many years ago. And a very, very early Corolla in the South African range. This looks like it's probably a late 70s model, if I'm not mistaken. No information on it, but I can tell you I know my Corollas well enough. I'm not going to say too much, but there's the future of Toyota. That's coming.